Ta-da. Hi.
Hello.
Sarah's studying up for book club.
Yes, I'm trying to find the quote that was talking about the last thoughts before an accident and how it reminded me of the car accident that you got in.
Oh, right.
You know,
I see that Splats is here. I know she was concerned that she wouldn't make it. This is exciting. Christy, Stephanie, Ashley, Jordan, Mackenzie, a lot of people.
Hi,
Derek.
friends. This is going to be my
Chloe,
favorite book
of
club
course.
yet. I know it.
Is it?
Because I read 2 books.
I got my big witch shirt on in honor of the character.
Oh, I have mine on too.
Woo! Weight of Blood.
Oh, yes. Dude,
We're witchy
there's a lot of big witch energy in that book.
Can I say the code word? Oh,
yeah, of course. Rogue Carbonara.
Right, Rogue Carbonara. But is there a different one? Because you know how she has the alternative.
Yes. Is there a different one? That's a really good.
If you're not on Facebook, you can do the other
Mighty Network. It's the best. I'm on there too.
Chloe set that up. Rogue Carbonara. Though. Secret password.
Dude, Chloe.
Dude.
A tip of the hat to you. This book you picked, so good.
Sarah's wound up.
I am.
Oh, God. Isn't it great? Because you're not on Facebook, so it's great that you can be on Mighty Network or whatever.
And I really like that platform because it's like just my peeps.
Yeah. I need to make a habit of checking it each day.
I had so much I wanted to put on that chat this morning, but it was
wanted
like
to save it.
I also wanted to finish reading the book.
Right.
So I was like, I can't stop right now. I don't have time.
Okay. So also, don't forget, we have, how could you, the June meetup, June 15th at Chateau Butler.
Yeah. Let me double check.
I hope you're coming back on the 14th. I checked.
Okay, thank God. I was like, that sounds like really close.
The day after.
Thank God.
Which sucks for you.
No,
but I
I'm
was
fine.
like, well,
That's
at least
exactly
it worked
what I
out.
would want to be, who I would want to be with.
Because we planned it and then you booked your trip and I'm like, wait, Sarah, when are you getting back?
Yeah.
Is it right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll have to skip that.
Sarah, I checked with you the dates before I
know
booked
you did.
it.
Right. So this came out. Yeah, but
she's
that's
gonna miss Aspen Food and Wine, you guys.
But you know what? I've been a few times.
But she's gonna be at Palos Verdes
with wine. Yeah, I'll make sure just Landon sets me up with real good wine here.
It's gonna be so much fun. The next day is Father's Day. That's fine with us.
Yeah. Yeah. Nope. No problem here. No scheduled conflicts over here.
Yes, this will be in LA. If we're gonna have it at my house.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be so
if
fun.
you can come. If not, don't worry. We'll live stream it. Don't worry. Mm-hmm. Okay. But we'll send out an official invite and everything.
Oh, don't worry, Chloe. I'm gonna be there.
So you have all the information.
To be perfectly honest, I want these book club people to. I can't stress this enough. I would 100% rather be at our party.
That's so nice.
Than Aspen Food and Wine with a bunch of people I don't know.
I cannot say the same.
No.
But that's because I've never been to Aspen Food and Wine.
We're good. I'll bring good apps. Susie and Adam are excellent cooks, so it'll be like food and wine. I'll bring excellent wine.
Pull out all the stops.
All the stops.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun.
Yeah.
And Stephanie even threatened to buy a karaoke machine.
Oh my God!
Which my neighbors
if she doesn't,
really
then I'll borrow the one I gave to Mariana for Christmas, and no worries, we will absolutely do that.
Yes. Anyway.
Oh my God, Katie! Congratulations! She said she graduates with her master's June 2nd. Oh my God, Splats! Everybody's getting so
Everybody's growing up, guys. You've really shot up like weeds.
Like weeds.
Okay. Yeah, we will definitely have to coordinate, Chloe, because it's going to be a whole scene.
Carla will get some beer for you too. Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have spirits. Whatever. That's let's start. I know. I keep turning the air down.
I gotta let my big witch energy.
Let it out.
Flow.
Okay.
Get us off. Oh, well, let's do that first.
Chloe.
Dude.
Excellent choice.
So good.
And Sarah read it.
I read it. I read it.
That's saying something.
And it was impossible to put down.
Did you guys read it? Tell me if you read it. It was excellent.
It almost wouldn't even matter if we did spoil it because it's just as good if you read it through. Oh my God, this book. Yes, Mo. Oh my God.
It's so good.
Dude. This like re-lit I know I enjoy reading fiction, but I forget when I go in between fiction books how much I really love it when I'm like lost in the whole story.
She gets lost.
I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Me too.
So
that was the only part that I was like,
I have a lot of questions.
I want more.
Yeah. Is there like a part 2 that I can read?
No.
I need to know so much more. Like, I want to know what happened
to
the whole network that the ring of pedophiles and gross people.
Good point.
Because that one main guy is still going strong.
Who?
Except they said he had a methamphetamine problem. Emery or
good
Every
point.
or whatever his name
what
was.
happened to him in the end? I forget.
Yeah.
There were certain people I had to like almost dismiss because I couldn't keep track. I'm terrible at reading fiction. So I focus on the main characters. But yeah, they said something about him at the end.
It's so good. But barely. Just that Crete knew that he recently had a young boy and he didn't want to ask any questions.
Oh.
Okay. But that something was going on. He escaped. Yeah, that makes sense. See, that kind of keeps it like creeping you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Creeping you out.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on. Yeah. And she used that technique of like different characters speaking and like also different timelines, which was a great device in the end. But at first I was like, oh no, another book where they're like
all over the place.
I have to pay attention.
Well, and if we read it like this I did an entire genogram for, and anybody who's in my field will laugh at that. I did.
Okay, good.
Of course I did. And then I showed it to the girls at school and they were like, oh, that's rich.
Oh my God.
It's so everything, funny. Including with their.
You could have done that for this too.
I could have. And then I would,
Yeah. Oh, and that was like Crazy Rich Asians is like that too.
Oh yeah, Kim's like, I feel like if I could keep the characters in Crazy Rich Asians straight, I can handle any book.
Yeah, I'm not good at that, so I really have to work at it. But Lila was.
Oh yeah, Mo said that I didn't want to read when Lila was going to meet him at the cave because even if I still knew it was coming, I didn't want to experience it.
Was she going there to bang him?
No, she's going to kill him.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I forgot.
She had the gun in her pocket.
Yeah,
oh, my God. And she put her hand on it, and then he grabs her wrist.
Okay, yeah.
And he's like, you don't want to do that?
Yep. I forgot.
Mm-hmm. And then it cuts off, and then Birdie's story starts again.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So
oh, my God, Katie, that's great.
Some say their Patreon is down and wanted me to give you a heads up.
No.
Oh,
no. Okay.
You know what you can do, if you don't mind? No, you couldn't. Let me do it. Okay, you talk.
Okay, yes. Okay. So a few things.
Wait, can they not access Patreon at all? Because then can you guys share the link in the Crush? Or what? Can you do that for me? That
Regina,
sucks. Patreon's down?
That's annoying.
Damn it.
Yeah. All days.
Carry on. Right, one day
Don't they
month.
know? Right. Okay, Chloe says she's trying. Oh, our shirt say "Big Witch Energy,"
which
is really appropriate because of this.
Yes, it is. Just share it.
Yeah, share away.
Big Witch Energy.
So some things that I want to talk about from this book. How about did you guys pick up on all of the snake references? I thought this was so well written, this book, and I loved that. She kind of weaved it in anytime they were hinting at somebody in danger or somebody where like somebody that you don't expect is going to hurt you and they almost like slither into your life.
Yeah, Sarah saw all these symbols that I was like, what?
It's really cool. They make a lot of references. So Birdie talks about when she wants to give the gun to Leela, she says you can use the excuse that you want to protect the kids from snakes, so you're learning how to shoot, the snakes. And then she sees like there's the snake that's been strung up on the fence post, and they're like, oh yeah, it's something to protect
drought.
Yeah, for drought. And then there's another one. There's a few, like a whole bunch. It talks about snakes. What's on page 157?
Yeah, Sarah's got snakes on the brain.
I wrote this down. It says, Lucy is talking about. Okay, so she says, like, you gotta be on the lookout for people who are going to hurt you. And she said, you didn't wait for snakes to come out of their den, according to Birdie. You poured the den full of gasoline. And so she kept mentioning over and over these like references of snakes. And I was like, ooh, that's good. And okay, let's see what else. And also a lot of references to balance. And she kept using a few different words that were like, she mentioned scales.
Said there was like a lot of balance and scale references.
And then something about a teeter-totter in there of like.
I did not catch that.
Things like going, yeah.
So why do you think that would be though? Like good versus evil?
Yeah. Or I think also it's the weighing of decisions of like.
The weight of blood.
Yeah.
Duh.
Oh my God.
I'm so dumb.
Duh. I didn't put that together. Did you just put that together? Oh, dude. Who said that?
Kim.
Kim.
The weight of blood.
Thank you. I did not even put that together. I was like, man, there sure is a lot of scales and balance.
They're
and
just
like
giving out advanced degrees now.
You know, she was talking about the baby that was inside when she went to Sarah.
Yes.
And she was unsure about the pregnancy. She was like, no, this baby will even the scales. This baby will bring you balance.
Oh, yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Ooh, goosebumps.
Okay.
That is so good, guys.
Gosh.
Oh.
That's
and
embarrassing.
then Crete actually mentions it at one point. Oh, yeah. Well, they talk about the weight. I highlighted that part. It's Birdie says it.
That is a
Birdie says, I kept an eye on you when she's talking to Lucy about growing up. And she said, I kept an eye on you. I always have. I always will. You're like a granddaughter to me, Lucy. It was strange to hear her say that, yet it made perfect sense. You grow up feeling the weight of blood, of family. There's no forsaking kin, but you can't help when kin forsakes you. This is like what we were talking about before.
Yes.
Or when strangers come to be your family. Leela found her home here. She belongs with us. Yeah.
Right. And then I did catch the blood thicker than water and, all of just the idea of the blood of death and life and relationships, but I did not catch the weight and scales.
Thank you guys for putting that one together. Also, I thought it was what were they saying?
The ending was so annoyingly rushed.
Yeah.
Yes, there was
like
so
that
much
in so many
care
books.
Put into like describing stuff where you could almost like taste the tea and you feel the heat, but then at the end it was like, how could there only be 4 pages left?
I felt like that about the Butterfly Garden too.
Why
don't you feel like that? Where it was like, what? This is like an entire episode on 1 page.
Do you think authors do that on purpose for some reason? Because I don't love that.
Oh,
I agree. Like I wanted more.
This is so funny that you guys are saying that because I was totally thinking that as I was reading this, that this is all going to come to this like this climax ending that's going to be really fast and really intense. And as I was reading it, I was thinking, I can't believe we're talking about this because I really had this active thought this morning of, could you just pick up a book and read just the last few pages? Or do you need all that stuff in the beginning? And that's why it feels so rushed. And that's why it feels so intense because we're so emotionally connected to this stuff. I don't know
how
either.
can you go into such detail throughout all of it, and you're like setting the scene?
Yeah, see, Lacey, I'm kind of with Lacey. Lacey says, but I also think it's all us because we're so into the story, we don't want it to end.
I can see what you're saying.
And don't I have a bad habit of not finishing books that I really love? And I still have 4 chapters to go.
I had to summarize.
It's like 8 pages, and I couldn't finish it because I was like, I gotta go. And I was like, Susie, tell me everything that happened, but I'm gonna finish it, even though I already know.
Yeah.
Because I have to read it.
Yeah, you do have a habit of that.
I know. It's because I don't want the good times to end.
Right. Meanwhile, that's all I'm in it for is the destination. I'm like the opposite of a healthy person.
Give me that last 5 pages.
I'm not in it for the journey.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that book.
Kimmy.
The next Butterfly Garden book to come out. Oh, it's so good.
I actually was thinking about Kimmy, and I was thinking about how the last month we talked a lot about adoption, and it seems like this theme is continuing, which I know is a common theme in literature, which is about relationships and blood and who you're related to, all that stuff. But it still felt like a good continuation.
Yes,
of
I
that
totally agree.
Conversation.
And like a different, it's talking about, there's like a thread that you can put through all the through everything, but through different people's stories and even like fiction and nonfiction.
Yes, I would agree with you. So this was a good pick. I'm impressed that Sarah read it.
I'm impressed that I read it.
I don't remember what your next book is, Chloe, though, so you have to remind me. And I don't know what your book is next.
I do have it. I have to look at it. Oh, surprise you? Okay. What else did I want to say? I did also like some of the I did like the story in there about there were just little lines that are very Southern or very like Ozarks kind of like these phrases.
Like Kahutta.
Yeah, kind of like that. Totally. There's one where I think it's
Hidden Figures.
Somebody taught, I think it's Bessie who's saying that a person's bite is the bite that delivers poison, and that a person's bite, there's kind of a snake thing in there too. See? And how, like, you know how she had the bite on her chest and it had to be tended, the wound had to be. And she's like, a human's bite is the bite that really, because they say it's worse than a dog's bite and it's the more dangerous. Like the chances of infection are way higher. Like a human bite is the most deadly bite you can get because it's everything that's in there. It's like the serious stuff. It gets really infected. And she was in the book saying like that fear, like that anger and everything, like it's like poison when it bites you, and that leaves a real lasting mark. And how about Birdie realizing that the teeth marks weren't, what's his name? John Billy or whatever the heck weird ass name he has.
Joe Bill.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't have teeth.
And then they were like, oh, she's like, that's not right. And how about, what's her name? With a weird name. Ooh, starts with an R, but it's Ransom. I was like, how do you say that name?
Right.
Ransom. How about how she was totally compliant and everything and knew what was going on, and
that
was like better her than me.
But
super.
I'm glad they had someone like that because it's so true.
Yes, it is.
There always is that person.
I can't lose what I have right now. You're on your own, girl, because I'm not getting rid of
this. Is all I have.
Oh my God.
What about this line? I liked it. It's not good like Sarah's Venom, whatever. I want to do my version of the right thing. That was such a good line because they were like, you always like to do the right thing. And she's like, well, I like to do my version of the right thing.
That's a good thing to say.
And yeah, it is, because what is the right thing?
Right.
Like that's not even a real descriptor. So I was like, yeah, I get that. Because I do my version of the right thing. Hold on. There was one other line I wanted to say.
Oh, yeah. I'm with you, Chloe. Chloe says some parts of the book totally made her sick at times. The scenes were so vividly written.
I thought that the sex stuff was very accurately portrayed.
I do, too. I really do.
I feel like I'm
especially
in
that
moment.
Creepy, the vice principal who went in the tanning salon, had his like dick out.
Yeah.
You know that's happened to every one of those tanning salon workers. And he's like, I misread what you're.
That is so true.
I know that's happened. And that's how they like feel out who their next friggin' victim is going to be. Who
to
doesn't
see what
flinch.
The reaction.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I don't know what I had marked.
Ick, that guy is right. And it did not surprise me that he worked at a school. I was like, "Ooh, is he the pooper attendant?" Kidding.
Good one.
Yeah,
all right.
Sorrel.
Oh yeah. That guy. All right. Anything else? Oh, Kimmy.
Oh.
Okay. Well, anyway, I loved it. If you didn't read it,
We're
you
talking
should.
about
It's
the
really
Weight of
good,
Blood.
even though we've totally spoiled it.
Yeah. That's okay. I feel like we should send it to somebody who didn't read it. Like, yeah. If they want to read it.
That's true. I could send you a copy.
Yeah, I'll send mine too.
Leave yours here. If you didn't read it and you want it, send your address to Delia at the Brain Candy Podcast.
And I've gotten better at not writing all over the book, so
I'm sure that would add to it for people.
Probably, maybe.
Yeah, it's fun to see what other people like.
All right, you want to go with yours?
You go ahead.
Oh, okay. We have a sip of wine.
What is yours? There by
Tommy Orange.
Tommy Orange.
Yes, it is.
Well, obviously
it's
that's
his
a pen
debut.
name, right?
I don't know, actually. I mean,
She doesn't know.
No. I mean, I'm sure it's like his American name or whatever, because he's
Asian.
No, he's Native American.
I don't know.
Oh, that's what the whole book is about. Okay. Sorry. I'm acting like she already knows. Thank you. Whitney loved it. I know the cover's orange.
I see
it was
what
easy
you're
to
saying.
remember.
It's like those names that are Native American.
Yes.
That sound
Yes.
made up. Okay.
Because he's a member of the enrolled member of the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes of Oklahoma.
Oh,
It is
Arapaho.
Arapaho.
Yeah.
I'm saying that wrong. It was really good. So, what do we want to talk about first? I thought, look at my genogram.
So funny.
Look at everybody who's connected. This is how I found out.
Let me see that.
Like who was related. So I was telling you. So the story starts and they're like just all these different characters, but you don't know how they're related. And
book and wine pairing. Sorry, that's awesome. I need to get. I'm
cool.
into that.
Yeah. Okay, so Jackie, her and her sister, they leave with their mom an abusive relationship. Like they have like a stepdad or somebody who's like abusive, and so they leave and they go to Alcatraz, where they're having like an Indian powwow, and they're all like, you know, gonna like get together and and what do they call it? Like rebel sort of. And basically they're there for like a couple weeks, but nobody gets their shit together and everybody's drinking, and then it just gets worse and worse. And then soon the women and children start leaving because they're like, this isn't safe and this isn't going anywhere. So while she's there, she gets raped by one of the boys who's there, and she becomes pregnant. And then she gives the baby up for adoption. And then later we find out who this baby is. And the baby grows up, and then she has other kids. It's like everybody's all connected, and
I'm going to take a picture of this and post it on Mighty Networks too.
Oh my God, you totally can.
Yeah, so you guys can look at it.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the real interesting thing was the baby that was given up for adoption was adopted by a white family. So she already knew that was a lot of the story, where they're disconnected from their heritage, but there's still a big part of them that realizes there's something missing, and so they're always in search of.
So we see the adoption thing happen again.
Yes.
Yes.
We do.
Enough.
Yes. Oh my God, you're totally right. And all of this is like, who's the real, like, who is family? What is family?
See?
Yes, because
the universe is telling us this.
Oh my God, Suze.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be turned into an emotional.
We're going to start crying again.
That is totally true. We need to listen to that.
Yes.
We are each other's family.
Yes.
Let's not hug. It's totally true.
It is
guys
true.
Are like family.
It is.
It is. These are the people who you can come to, and
yes.
the details don't matter, and the facts and events don't matter. They go, how do you feel? Sad? I'm here for you.
Yes.
Not, oh really? What was it like?
What happened? Yeah.
That doesn't matter.
No.
Right. That's it. Oh my God. Okay. Cute. Let me see. What do you say?
They are cute.
I never heard about the Alcatraz occupation before this book. Me either.
No. Oh yeah.
That's what this was.
Oh.
That's what they're talking about. So everything in here are like real references to things that happened. And
historically.
Yeah, okay. Historically. Okay, so
I like you guys more than my family, that's for sure.
Start with this. So
okay.
One of the things that I thought was really interesting was how he started the book by talking a little bit about Native Americans and their role in the United States and just what really happened. And how what we know as Thanksgiving was really a celebration by the white people of how they just offed a bunch of people.
Right.
And it's not what we think it is. And it made me so angry. And then one thing that I didn't even, like, you put a lot of things together. He starts the whole book by talking about the Indian head on the television that, you know, back in the day when the channel wasn't working or when it was like in between shows, there was just an Indian head on it. And
there was?
Yeah. It was surrounded by like, you know this image. If I pull it up, it's like a very iconic image
of an Indian.
Of an Indian's
like feathers.
Face. But there's more, it's like subtly telling you things without telling you things. Like it almost looks like it's in a scope of a rifle with like a target thing around it. I'm going to pull it up so that you can see. Indian head by the television. It's like a television test pattern.
Why were you assigned to look it up, Chloe? What was that for?
It's this.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
It almost looks like a target.
Yeah, totally.
It does, with an Indian in it.
Why?
And think about this subtle message that you're sending everybody on TV.
Well, yeah,
and
but
if you
why
grow
was
up
this
Indian,
a thing?
I don't know. And they don't even ever really say why it was a thing.
Deep dive.
Yes. Oh, Suze.
Yeah, I had the color bar test and then just like snow, you know, like the gray.
Oh my God. And this writing is so good. The Indian's head was just above the bullseye. Like all you need to do was nod up an agreement to set the sights on the target.
Gosh.
This was just a test. Oh, is that not good? Oh, chills. Look at that. Real goosebumps.
Oh, Chloe's in a First Nations Indigenous literature class.
Chloe?
Right?
That's amazing. So was this book assigned?
She said she had to look up
that image because this is like, you know, the book of like I found out about this because somebody, I think it was in the The New Yorker did like their list of best books from each of their literature reviewers from the year, and a lot of people had this as like they're in their top 5. And I was like, oh, we have to read that.
See, New Yorker.
So everybody's like, Chloe,
Code
see,
Brain
you are
Candy.
badass.
Get that $6 in a tote bag.
Oh man, it's so crazy. And then they talk about urban Indians, and man, it's so good. They say our land is everywhere and nowhere.
Well, that is for sure.
Yeah. And it's a bunch of like, okay, so let me just kind of lay this out for you. So it's a whole bunch of different stories of all these people from all over,
energy.
Like from the whole timeline of their lives, but everything all like culminates. Is that the word I'm looking for? Everything all like comes together in the very end. They're all meeting up for this big powwow in Oakland. And some people are there because one character is there because he's doing a journalist project where he got a grant, and he's going to like videotape all the stories of the Native Americans. Then another kid is there because he's never gotten a chance to dress in his family's like regalia and do all the dances and everything. And he's been banned by his like grandmother. And so he's like sneaking out to go do it. And then another guy's there. You hear all these stories, like a lot of people there, have just been out of the Native American community for a long time. And they're like, okay, I'm going to go reconnect to this, at this big powwow. All the while there's another boy, and I don't know if it's like a group of his friends or if it's his brothers. I was kind of confused on that, but they're planning to rob the powwow because there's a grand prize for the best like drummers and dancers of like $5,000 for the top like 5 people. So they're like, oh, there's going to be like $25,000 there.
Yeah.
So they have a 3D gun printed made out of plastic and come up with a plan for how they're going to get the bullets through the metal detector. And they do get the metal detector. So the whole story ends in gunfire where everybody's dodging bullets.
Oh my God.
And like running away from this. And it's like, there's a quote in the movie that says something about like, if your people were at war, like, are you ever not at war? Like the war just kind of like kind of
is that the takeaway?
But
that they're always in that
yeah, I think
mode.
So. I think so. It's like almost like,
under
well, what
attack.
do you expect people to do? And under attack.
Yeah.
Okay, and then everybody's like, what? Okay, so let me see. I'm sorry to interrupt,
but did you see how Elizabeth Warren apologized for taking the DNA test that showed that she had Native American ancestry?
Yeah.
She apologized to the tribe because the tribe was mad that she did that. And I thought that was a bit weird that they were mad, but they said it's because they don't believe, and this fits with our topic, that blood is how you determine a tribe. And that it's about culture and family, and that just because you're 6 generations ago, somebody might have been this, whatever. May
have been raped by somebody who was white and then had a little bit. Yeah.
And so they're like, you're welcome to sit at our table as a friend, but you can't pull up a chair and pretend like you're family.
I like that.
I thought that was interesting.
I like that. I think that's really great.
Yeah.
And also true.
And so she did apologize.
Yeah.
Alexa agrees.
Oh my God, Alexa. That's so weird. That was weird.
Is she Native
American? Yeah, what if?
She's for sure
She's
not.
like, I'm from Canada and we call ourselves First Nation people. What
oh, I never knew that.
Yeah.
When she said that, I never knew that.
What?
First Nation people? I had no idea that.
Really?
Nope. Never heard that in my life.
Oh yeah, that's like how Canadian. It's weird that it's referred to as something different in Canada because I would call them First Nations people here, unless it's not what they want, but they want to call it Native Americans, which is you're talking about the Americas versus First Nation people of Canada, I guess.
I have literally never heard that phrase.
I was.
Sad.
There's a lot of times where you're like, oh, I think I am pretty aware of like Native Americans and like how they've been treated. Yeah. And then you read this and you're like, well, I know nothing. And good thing I found that out because this is awful.
Some people still kind of thought this had a cliffhanger.
It kind of in a way does because you don't know what happens to the kids who shot everything up. You don't know what happens. Like it just leaves the last quote. Oh no, that's his acknowledgments, what he says. Okay. So the last thing is this guy who got shot, and he's thinking back on his life, and he's saying like the feelings that he has in his body, and he's saying like now he feels like sinking, like he's almost becoming like one with the earth, and he can feel himself like sinking
in a good way,
and
or not.
well, I don't know, good and like in a way, even like this death is it's kind of like a freedom from some really horrible things in their life, but also, and I think this guy died as like a hero, like he was doing a heroic act.
Well, they don't see death the same way either, too.
And he's like, the wind, Tony hears a bird outside from where he's anchored to the bottom of in the middle of him, the center. There's a bird for every hole in him, like the gunshots, singing, keeping him up, keeping him from going. Tony remembers something his grandma said to him when she watched him, teaching him how to dance. You have to dance like birds sing in the morning, she said, and showed him how light she could be on her feet. She bounced and her toes pointed just the right way. Dancer's feet, dancer's gravity. Tony needs to be light now. Let the wind sing through the holes in him. Listen to the birds sing. Tony isn't going anywhere. And sometimes, somewhere in there, inside him, where he is, where he'll always be. Now, even now, it is morning, and the birds are singing.
Ugh.
Yeah, heavy.
Yeah.
It was.
I could see how people would be like, oh.
Yeah, you're like, well, but what happens? All the Indians? Who's going to jail? And like, but really,
that's life, right?
Yeah. It is life. And there isn't a pretty bow and happy ending on it.
Yeah.
The quote that I was going to say to you that made me think of you. So this one guy, Bill, he gets shot and he says, Bill's head slams against the concrete, blah, blah, blah. His heart throbs, not with pain, just big throbbing turns into full-on swelling, his expanding head. And the first thing he thinks of is that he watches the blood seep from under his head in a half circle. He can't move. He wonders what they'll use to clean it.
Exactly.
I was like, this is Susie. That's it. He's like, this is going to be such an inconvenience, my blood on the floor for them.
Right. And also, in my case, it was like a sense of like, you have too much going on if you're worried about the paperwork and not your son or your death or whatever. It's like you're in the wrong mindset. But it's similar because he's worried about other people and what bother it will be.
Yeah. I was watching a documentary last night where this guy dies surfing and he drowned, and the doctors had to come out and tell her that he died.
Documentary?
Well, she's retelling it in a documentary. They do have footage of him dead, like as the lifeguards are pulling him out and doing it, and in the hospital, and he's dead. And I was like,
that's
oh
terrible.
my God, I've never this is like the first time I've seen a dead person. It was too real. And she was talking about it, and she said when the doctor, when the doctor came out and told her, we're real sorry your son died before he got into the ambulance, like we did all we could, the very first thing she said was, it must be so hard for you to deliver this information to people. Like even in that moment, she couldn't even deal with her own sadness. So she had to deal with others. And I was like, that is such a mom thing. Like that is the ultimate. She's a mom? Yeah, it was her son who died in the surfing accident. So the doctor had to tell her that her son was dead and he drowned. And the first thing she said was, it must be really hard for you to deliver this information to people. How do you do it? And because she's like,
that's what I would do.
With yours.
So
I know.
Terrible.
That's what I was thinking. And I was like, that is it. Is like, you're so putting other people first that even in that moment where you should be like, you're thinking of the other person.
Ew.
Oh.
Katie said, I was wondering about the symbolism about the downfall ultimately coming from within. I don't know if that was intentional, but that's what kept popping up for me. And everyone thought that was a good point.
That is a really good point.
So I wanted to.
Man.
I mean, that's like often how it happens.
Yeah, but then it's like.
Think about America.
That's like the plan, right? Is like the white guys set them up. So it's not the white guys holding the gun and pulling the trigger.
I can apply that to a lot of things.
Yes, you can.
Life. Yeah.
I mean, a lot, right? Where they've loaded the gun. They've purchased the gun for you. Yeah. And then they just put it in your hands and they're like, well, it wasn't us. We didn't do anything. Well, no, but you taught them how to shoot.
It's like not to always make it about the challenge, but it's like when they're like, "What, Sarah? Right. It's nothing personal. Only Johnny would take the money."
Right.
But you're like, you set the whole game.
Right. Right.
It's you gave him the gun.
Yes.
You loaded it.
Yes.
And then you're like, "What?
What did we do? It wasn't us. It was that."
I mean, but you can apply it to lots of things, of course.
So that is a really good point. Whoever said that made that was a good. That's a good commentary.
Katie.
I like that.
Right. And so, like, when did you finish this? Like today or?
No, I finished it like a couple weeks ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago.
Is there something that you've thought about since then that like comes back?
Oh my goodness, good question. You know, I think the thing that keeps coming back for me the most was the person who had what's it called when you alcohol when the woman drinks alcohol?
Fetal
alcohol syndrome.
Yeah. Hi, Jack. By the way,
he would always refer to it as his drome, not like syndrome, but he would call him a drome.
Oh my God.
He was like a character who was really important in the book, and you see how he wasn't defined by that. I think he did like save some people in the end, and it was almost like the same thing that
his cross to bear, but like
but also made him the one like charge in and help, like kind of thing, because of it's
What's your next book?
I have to look up the name of it. I have it.
Okay.
I have it on here. But okay, so let me see
Anything else?
Let me look at my
Not
notes.
to rush
No.
you.
I just want to make sure I'm hitting all the good stuff because I know. Okay, book club becoming.
Book club. Yeah, I gotta pull out mine too. Oh my God.
Oh no,
These are great picks this time. I love it.
Okay, there. Oh, I have that. Oh my God, this was such a good line. So in this story about Opal Viola, she's this is when they're on an island. She's a little girl, but she knows that her sister had been raped.
Okay.
And she said the metaphor is so good. So she's like a little girl who goes to the island with her teddy bears, and they reference like the teddy bear's shiny eyes and everything. And then it says like she puts down the teddy after she learns this new information. And it said she puts down the teddy bear whose eyes aren't as shiny as they were before her mother spoke about how they lie, and leaves them there. And referring to like lies of white people, lies of everything. It's like she learned information, and then the teddy bear's eyes weren't as shiny anymore. It's almost to say the little girl wasn't as shiny and new anymore. She knew, and I was like, that is so good, right?
Dang. I feel sad, and I didn't even read it.
Oh, this was also good. There's a kid named Edwin Black who's like really obese, lives his whole life in a basement playing video games, and has like an online identity because he doesn't want to live his own life.
Sure.
So I put this on like in a reference to like having an online presence and an online existence. He said, as I did less, he did more. And I was like, oh, like his online version of himself did more as he did less. And I'm thinking about social media and all those things who like were like, yeah, sure, it looks like we're going everywhere, but maybe that they're really doing more online than they are in real life.
Well, I have people say that to me, and I'm always like, no, I never leave my house.
And when I'm really busy, I have no time for social media.
True.
And it's
that's
like,
very true.
Oh my gosh, that maybe there is something to that.
Yeah.
And then I wrote down, does what we try most to avoid come after us because we pay too much attention to it with our worry?
That makes me sad.
Right?
Let
it go. Does what we try most to avoid come after us
I hate
because
it,
we pay too much
true.
attention to it with worry?
I wake up in the night with real bad anxiety, and now I've started taking edibles thanks to Sarah. But I wake up in the night and I'll have like racing heart about whatever I'm worried about.
Yeah.
And it'll actually be like, that's a dumb thing to worry about.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But emotionally you cannot get rid of it.
Right.
And it's what you're saying.
Yeah. You have to speak to yourself in almost a third person to activate that like prefrontal cortex and say, I'm making the decision right now to not think about that. Yeah. Thank you, brain, for giving me that information, and actually say these things. I know it sounds silly, but
it's
your
like
brain,
the Kondo
you
thing
have to, like, you have to say it, and your brain goes, "Oh, okay, we're good," because it's doing its job. It's good. It's being like, "Hey, what about this? What about this? What about this?" to try to protect you, and you have to be like, "Yo, brain, thank you for trying to protect me, but we're good. It's bedtime."
This is a true story. When we were at Challenge Mania this past weekend, we were on stage on these wooden chairs that are like kind of like bar higher ones, but they were real rickety, and like you could feel like the motion of the screws.
Call them earthquake awareness chairs.
Yeah, it was like that. And I had these boots on, and I put my boots on the bottom rung, like sitting there. It's over now, right? But I keep replaying, like, what if my chair had
Okay.
It's over.
Suze, this is that's anxiety. People with anxiety do that.
That is so dumb. I'm like, that's in the past.
Yes.
And I'm worried about that.
I tell my clients, I said, you have to fight those thoughts away. And when it comes in, you go, "Thank you, brain." And then you have to say something like delete.
Okay.
Like become a ritual
you.
of like delete. Like I don't need that one. Because people do that.
I really do need to delete.
Yes.
Okay, wait. Sorry, did I hijack your
No.
thing? Go ahead.
That's it. There's one more quote that I want to put up that I thought was really good. I thought there was a subtle reminder of privilege throughout, and like their lack of, and the ones that I as a white person have,
Yes.
of like Jackie Redfeather wasn't able to swim. And they just like slowly mention these things. One quote said the carpets were crowded with winding lines like every casino carpet. And just like those little things that, yes, a Native American person would recognize that it looked like all those casino carpets that are, that's kind of like,
yeah.
I just felt like a subtle reminder. Oh, you know what this looks like? Oh, that place where we also ruined the Native American people and took all their, subtly weaved in without saying what it is, but makes you think about, oh God, that's right. The Native American relationship with the casinos. Like he doesn't talk about it, but mentions it like that. Then the last quote I wrote down, which I was like, ooh, this is good. We can explore that. It said, a spider's web is a home and a trap. And how many dangerous relationships, especially with men and domestic violence, where the home and the safety is also a trap.
What? Okay. Well, because I was reading about how like they only sit on certain ones that aren't sticky. Like even if they stepped on the wrong part of the web, they would get trapped too.
Oh. Dude, see, when you really break down some of these quotes in there, you're like, this writer is good. People are really praising him, especially since it's his first book he ever wrote.
Mo wants us to do a Sarah Says section of the newsletter. What?
The spiders under the leg portion. Oh my God. So it's like a Native American thing, like trouble is coming.
I already feel gross.
Like spiders in their legs, like everybody had a story where like they went to scratch their leg and like spiders' legs came out of like a bump, or they'd find spiders' legs on them. And it was always before something terrible was about to happen. And so they would like find it, but then not want to tell anybody that they saw spider legs. Yes. Oh, so disturbing. It did give me creepy. Like I could imagine them like coming out of the skin like that. I was like, what?
First of all, welcome to Carla.
Hello, Carla. Everybody's like, no.
And she had good tips. That Carla, is so disturbing.
About the spiders. That was so good. Yeah, it does. It gave me the chills every time I read it. I was like,
makes me laugh. Because I've seen her puke so many times.
That's true.
But it's so funny.
Oh my God, that's gross.
Okay,
I'm gonna find my book for the month as you do that.
Okay. What the heck's mine called? River Darkness or something? What the hell is it called? A River in Darkness. Okay. Now, people, let me do this in 2 parts. By the way, did you see how John Legend is learning to swim?
Oh.
You saying that about privilege.
Good for him.
Yeah, because
it's a really hard thing to do as an adult.
And as a child. Oh. I mean, if you're not gifted.
If you're scared, if you have a fear of the water, yes.
Yeah, this was a nice short book, but really dense. Okay. So the first part is going to be me just as a reader. Here are my thoughts. And then I'll talk about what happened after. Because one of you tweeted at me and was like, I hope Susie's doing a deep dive on the author. And it hadn't even occurred to me to do it because of the North Korea thing. Anyway, this is there's a memoir of a man who escaped North Korea.
Okay.
And so he's describing what life in North Korea is really like.
What year has this happened? Like, when was he there?
He was taken out in the 60s.
Oh, so it was like,
I think, yeah.
Full blown communism.
And he got out, after he was married and had kids and stuff.
Okay.
So not that long ago. And, okay, so we'll start with.
I'm with you, Regina. I think because they're so closed off, we don't really know how bad it is.
I love you so much right now. Like, I just think it's real cute because you're in the mode where you've done it now and like you're snacking. Oh, but I love it.
And I was looking at the book for this month. My next book club pick because I was like, I had to look at my notes.
I love the thing you've got going on. Because you're just like a book club member now.
Oh yeah. Now I'm like, okay.
And you're like just eating your popcorn.
It's like my popcorn, right?
Okay.
That's totally true.
Okay, let's just go through my highlights here.
Yes.
And he just is telling his life story. And you can watch the comments.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes in life, you have to grab your so-called destiny by the throat and wring its neck. How great is that advice?
Mhm.
Because people like to think of destiny as something that happens to you. It's passive. It was my destiny. It just occurred. But he's like, no, sometimes you have to go and grab it and, get it. I love that. Okay. Something I did not know, again, my ignorance has pointed out, the Japanese defeat in World War II left 2.4 million Koreans stranded in Japan.
Oh.
Never knew that. So this is a guy who was born in Japan.
Oh my God. Okay.
But his dad was North Korean, or I should say Korean. And his mom was Japanese.
Okay.
And his dad, was like kind of like in the mafia, whatever you want to call it. And just like a bully and all this stuff. He beat his mom up, and it was just a really fucked up existence. And then ultimately the dad convinced the family to go to Korea because they had heard how amazing it was.
Of course.
And how you get a free education and you're taken care of and it's paradise. They kept saying it's paradise. And so he didn't even speak Korean. It's not even like he was born in Korea. That's all he knew. And then whatever. He knew. And his life in Japan wasn't even good. And yet he knew, like, this is not normal. Okay. So anyway, they were amongst the people who were affected by this sort of being no man's land.
Okay.
Like, the dad was Korean, but he was in Japan and all that.
And even from what I hear, that at the time Korea went to big efforts to strip everybody of their culture, regardless of whether they were from there or from somewhere else. Of like, nope, none of that. It's just this way. Now.
Yes.
So all those things that make you feel like who you are.
Yes.
Are
identity.
taken away.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. And I don't know what just happened. Okay. And so he was describing how once they freed these Koreans, they didn't give them anything. It was sort of like when the slaves were freed in America. And it's like, yeah, good luck. And then, but what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
It was like that. So they really didn't have any way to like earn a decent living. So his life again in Japan wasn't great. Okay. Beep, beep, beep. Japanese wives crossed over to North Korea. That's one hell of a mass migration. In fact, it was the first and only time in history that so many people from a capitalist country had moved to a socialist country. People were like going to Korea.
Oh, that's what I said. It's socialist in Korea.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I meant when I said capitalist. Switch that in your memory.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was
socialist. To get rid of everything. It's all about that. Yeah.
I love how he kept saying that he was born again. Obviously, for my background in religion, I thought that was a clever move, especially because it had nothing to do with religion. And it was like he was saying he was born, and then when they went to Korea, he had another life, and then and then he survived. He tried to kill himself at one point. He survived that, born again, but not in the hopeful way that we like think of it.
Oh,
it was
like
in
Groundhog's
like,
Day.
no, yes,
doomed
like,
to repeat
not
it again.
Oh, yeah, it's like that.
Is this just what I'm destined to be?
Yeah, and so it was an accurate portrayal, but it was not what we usually understand. Deep. So he, oh my God, they served him dog meat. I don't know why I highlighted that. Okay, so when they went to North Korea, they had some of their belongings, and it was like they were rich. They had like bikes and a couple clothes. Yeah, and it was like, oh, you're fancy.
So did they say where he moved to? Like, what is it like a like a not
it was
common,
like,
but like
they moved to rural Korea, and they had to be farm laborers, which is like the lowest thing that you can be. And I guess the thing to say is that everything that you could imagine is so much worse in reality. Like if he's telling the truth and if this is what it's really like, it's like, why is anyone still trying to survive? Like I would kill myself. I certainly wouldn't have kids.
Well, it's like that Eli Wiesel book.
Oh,
where he says,
Elie
or no,
Wiesel,
I'm thinking,
Night.
Yes, it's that. And then there's something about like the measures of a man or something like that. It says hope is the one force that survives anything. Like
I don't know
the people
how-
who have been through concentration camps is like, as long as you have
I get that
a
more.
relationship that you can hold on to, like hope of something in the future.
With the concentration camp, because you know, like if you get out,
then you're okay. Oh, that's a good
but this
point,
is like
sis.
you're never gonna get out.
This is just life.
Yeah.
Even when you're free.
And like,
Ooh, damn, that's scarier.
One thing that was so interesting was how like it didn't take long before people were like, I'm not helping you. Like I'm barely surviving on my own.
Ooh.
You become animals as Lord of the Flies.
Like, what's her name in the other book we read?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because what are you supposed to do? And so people like his wife like almost died giving birth. There was blood everywhere, and everyone was like, "Look, I don't know what to tell you." Or like you have a newborn baby and it needs breast milk, and they're just like, "Sorry." Like, but I get it because you can barely live yourself,
right?
Let alone like be charitable.
Yeah.
But those times when he received charity, it was like life changing because it gave you that hope of like, okay,
maybe
I have
there's
somebody.
a chance.
Yeah. So
everybody agrees with you that it was so much worse.
It's just
than what
that.
they know.
Okay, so I'll skip to the second part where like you look up later and people think it's like a not true story. They think it's made up. But I think that's a defense mechanism where you're like, this has to be made up. It can't really be like that. But I think it for sure is.
Chloe said it was so vivid and it made me think of how we in North America say offhand how starving we are before we stuff our faces with so much food.
I always feel bad about
because of the starvation aspect
right
in the book.
Well, I read this book about Brazil and the favelas and how they would, I think it was called maybe they just called it this, the madness of hunger.
Oh.
And I thought that was such a good descriptor because I don't know what that's like to go days without eating.
Oh my God.
How you kind of lose your marbles.
Of course you would.
Right.
Because you're in straight up survival mode.
Right.
You know how we were talking earlier about like your brain, it just gives you these things that are supposed to protect you of like, maybe I'm worried about falling over on the chair or on stage. This brain is telling you, you need to murder anyone who comes close to you and tries to get your food because if you don't, it's them or you.
Yeah.
And you're straight up animalistic.
Yes. And they never had food. Like he would describe some of the food that they ate, and it was like an acorn crushed up, but like super bitter and gross, and just like you just wanted to put weeds in your body, whatever you found.
Yeah.
And then they would get something special on the birthday of the King John, whatever, whoever that first guy was. And that was like the one day of the year where you weren't hungry. One day in the year where you weren't hungry all day.
And then in some way in your mind, you'd thank him for it because it was his day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fucked up and twisted.
Right.
Dude.
I saw this thing where they had American doctors come over and help people that have like blindness and stuff. They like remove their cataracts and then they could see.
Yeah.
And they would have to thank the Kim Jong guy.
Oh.
And that they have to do that, but they also kind of probably believe it in a way.
Yeah.
That he's the benevolent leader.
Who doesn't ever shit. I was like a thing going around. Or like that's what he said. He never has to go to the bathroom.
They didn't have a bathtub, of course.
Wow.
Then their house burned down on the birthday of the dictator. So then they really had zero.
House burnt down.
Can you imagine being homeless in North Korea?
No.
And I always think of it like the jungle, like hot, but there was, a winter. It's no polar vortex, like poor splats, and you guys are dealing with.
No joke.
But it sounded like it because they don't have any clothes or jackets.
And people are not in the most like they're not helping. What's the word I'm looking for? Philanthropic mood when they're starving to death.
Okay. He says, as I see it, the people who experience equal amounts of sadness and happiness in their lives must be incredibly blessed.
That's
we
should hold on to that.
If you suffer long enough, it almost becomes funny, and you can find yourself laughing at the most miserable situations. Even in our limited scope of suffering.
Tig Notaro is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, anyone that's lost a loved one, people start laughing at funerals all the time because it's just like what he's describing. We rarely witnessed or experienced any real humanity or warmth in our daily life. Everyone was always thinking of themselves. Healthcare in North Korea is supposedly free, but in reality, it isn't free at all because the doctor is looking for bribes too.
Yeah.
He wants some rice
that's
or whatever.
what they were doing. Oh my God.
So they'll say to like outsiders, oh yes, we have free healthcare, we have free everything. Nothing's free.
Cheyenne said she really felt like her problems were so light after reading it.
I know. But you can't even conceive of how bad it is.
Remember in Minding the Gap when the African-American kid is talking about how when he hears his white friends complain, he like rolls their eyes because his dad taught him that every single thing that he's had to do in his life has been so much more difficult than anything that they complain about, that he's like, it almost makes me feel good because I know I can handle anything. And he has like a good attitude about it.
Right. But it's true.
It is true. You have to work twice as hard to get half as far kind of thing. But also I'd be like really pissed at any person who is white complaining about.
Okay. Violence began to seem like the only answer. I think we've all had that moment.
I missed what Derek said.
I know. I didn't see it either.
Yeah. People were like, you should go on the podcast. And I was like, what? Tell me. Tell me.
Okay. So anyway, then he tries. Okay. So he has kids. He has a wife. And then he decides he's got to get out. That like, if he doesn't get out, he'll die from hunger anyway. So it was like, what do you have to lose? Oh, yes. I have talked about that.
Oh, yeah.
Where in having nothing to lose can be dangerous, but it can also be helpful.
Yeah.
Because then you, in this case, try to get out and see what happens. His description of escaping was unbelievable. As what?
I'm just saying, Danny said, and just to think we have shows like Naked and Afraid that we watch for entertainment.
True.
Of like we
have to simulate survival.
Yes.
For TV, Survivor.
We turn like the tiniest little bit of suffering into these.
But it's almost like I don't even feel guilty because it's like it should be like that. It should be that
make these people suffer a little.
It should be like we shouldn't have to live like this.
Oh, right. I see.
That's the part that's insane. And that simulating it for entertainment to me feels like, okay, well, that's at least
yeah.
It
is crazy that we simulate it for entertainment while simultaneously other people are dying.
I get it.
That's kind of a
I totally
weird
get
one.
it.
Or the eating competitions. Could you imagine? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I'm starting to get guilty.
I'm starting to too. Could you imagine you eat 112 hot dogs and then like...
Or even like when we eat gross stuff and want to vomit and they would be happy to eat it.
Because it's probably better than an acorn. Oh my God.
Okay. He did get to the point where he was done with people, which made, sense.
We've let you down. There's nowhere that's safe.
Okay, wait.
Was this his first book?
Well, that's the thing. So we don't really know. There is a picture of him in the back, but like people, like I said, think it's not real. Like he's not real.
A million little pieces.
People think that because he's in hiding. He escaped.
Yeah.
But none of his family got out. And that was a sad part where he was like, he's still sad. And he can't even bring himself to eat because they're still there. And some of them are dead now. And
where are his children?
They're still there.
They're still there? He left his kids?
Well, because he is the only hope.
I'm going to start. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Because they're not going to
escape.
This
was like, oh my God.
Because he was like, I'm going to come back for you. I'm going to find a way. And maybe he will. But like.
It was the only thing.
Yeah, no, there's nothing online.
Dude.
And so people are like, what the fuck? And how did he find a publisher and translated it and everything? I don't know the answers. And it's like the one time I didn't feel the need to do a deep dive because I felt like the story was complete.
Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes things like this, the same way I felt with A Million Little Pieces, that opened the door to what addiction was really like.
Yeah.
In the I don't
It's the
care.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real or fake, it doesn't matter because these things actually happen to people. It doesn't matter if they happen to him or to 4 of his friends and you combine the stories. This shit really happens and we need to look at this. And it's the same thing with that. This shit really happened and we need to look at it.
And if someone made it up, I'm impressed because I bet this is really what it's like.
Regina says the one thing I found from 2004 that his sister escaped, but his family was put in danger from the media from the book. Yeah, I love that book too.
Where did you find that, Regina? Was that because like I didn't find anything?
She's good. That's good.
There was like a Reddit thread and then like just reviews of the book.
Cheyenne, I agree. She said this was such a great book club month. I totally agree with you. I
agree.
I mean, they were 2 of my favorites, the ones that I read. Yeah, I'm with you, Mo.
Hold on, let me see if I have anything else.
Jordan said, I worried that the family that stayed ended up working in a camp.
What?
That's what Jordan was just saying, that like the family that stayed may have ended up.
Well, that's the other thing. If you try to escape, and if you do, sometimes your family is executed as punishment for your
oh my God,
whoever. It was
she said she'll find it and post it to the Facebook discussion under the book.
It was a weird ending because you got so happy that he got out and he was feeling good. And it was like, oh my gosh, it's too good to be true. And then it was.
Why?
Because he got out and then he was like, I can't get a job.
Yeah.
I can't reach my family. Mm-hmm. There's no way for me to bring them over. I heard my son's dead or whoever.
Like, what happened?
What?
Like, how this all,
This is what everyone is mad about. But when he like he got out and saw like a bowl of fruit on the table, he couldn't even believe it. Like he couldn't believe that some people just have fruit on their tables, you know? But and to me, that's why you should read the book if you haven't yet, because it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like this is true. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's hard to even let yourself go there because you can't do anything. Like we can't deal with the North Korea problem.
Right.
So it's like, what's the point? But empathy can come from that. I have just one thing left. My only true possession. I'm sorry to say that it's bitterness. Bitterness at the cruelty of life.
Oh God. And that he calls that his possession, which I don't like because then you're owning it. Yeah. It's not the cruelty. It's like my cruelty.
Yeah.
Or bitterness.
People talk about God. Although I can't see him myself, I still pray for a happy ending. But such a great thing to read. And I really am intrigued by the North Korea thing. Yeah. When I was in high school, Lisa Ling, she worked for Channel 1 and she went there and didn't get caught or anything. But remember when her sister went and got captured? Laura Ling?
I forgot about that.
And then Obama or whatever they figured out how to get her back. But I mean, she was in like a North Korea detention. Yeah. Can you even imagine? And that Otto guy, I mean, she got a better fate than Otto. I forget his last name. And he's dead now, but it's horrific. I said to my husband though, like, when you think about the payoff of these dictators, like, what is in it for them? Yes, money and power, but you can have that without genocide, essentially.
I think people become things on chessboards. I've had this discussion with somebody about how, like, so say you're...
if you're captured.
No, if you're the dictator. Like, you start looking at human beings.
Oh, yeah,
as very disposable lives.
To what end? Like, what is so great that is worth it?
I don't even know if it's that there is like someplace they're going. It just becomes like the same way if you were a chicken farmer and you've been a 4th generation chicken farmer, those chickens, like you and I would look at a chicken and would be like, oh, well, cute, like a little chick. Mm-hmm. We would not take it and smash it against a table to kill it and then throw it into a little thing. So
yeah,
it gets
but
turned
if
into
I
a thing.
did kill it, what would be the reward for me? I
If
don't
it
get what's
becomes
in it
the
for that.
normal thing that has been done for, and you saw your father do it, and that became the normal thing, that I think people just become disposable, and you lose the human, like the humanity, and it's like I think people are seen as like lower class and therefore disposable, and then the people who can serve you and somehow like.
I mean, I can't get it. My brain just goes like, what?
I think you see it in
I know,
the way I was
context
talking
is
to
everything.
it was like in businesses, where if you're the business owner and you own a small family-run business and you have 5 employees, the likelihood of you caring about the healthcare of those employees is really high. You'd be like, yes, I'd like all 5 of those to be cared for. If you were the owner of a 1,000-person company, do you think, and you didn't see them as often, you came by once a month or whatever, what do you think your care for those people would be? If you now own a company with 10,000, now 1 million, now 5 million, I think the care for the individual becomes less and less and less, when it's almost like you have $100 worth of care to give, and that dollar gets broken up.
That's grim.
It is grim, but that's the only thing I can do to explain corporate greed and why this disconnection from the humanity and from the, like, that goes against human instinct, like humanity. That's, oh yeah, she was like, you're way overthinking. Oh, she was way overthinking. I thought I'm overthinking it. I'm like, I put a lot of thought into this, so yes, I have overthought it.
Okay, for the June meetup, it's June 15th. June 15th. And Sarah's going to be there whether she likes it or
I'm
not.
there. I'm there. Okay. Your book for the next month?
My book is called Inheritance, right? Isn't that what I chose? I hadn't announced it last month. And it's the one about the people who, the person who got their DNA sorted out. On the, I'm so bad. It's been a long day. Through like an ancestry website, and then like the fallout when they found out like their dad wasn't their dad or something. And the meeting is on March 1st, Friday, if you're available.
Yeah, I'll double check my calendar. But my book is called Stay With Me, a novel, and we'll post the name because I will slaughter this.
Whoa.
Yep. So I don't know. And so it's a story of a girl from Nigeria who's in a polygamy marriage, a polygamist marriage, and she's infertile. And so it's her story of like what it's like to be in this polygamist marriage, and like trying to get pregnant, and like at what cost. And it says it's an unforgettable story of a marriage seen through the eyes of both the husband and wife. Stay with me, asks how much we can sacrifice for the sake of family. And it's getting crazy rave reviews. And it's written by a woman from, I think she's from Nigeria. It was the 2017 BEA Buzz Panel Selection, a New York Times notable book, and on the short list for the 2017 Bailey's Women Prize for Fiction.
Great.
So, and Woman of Color.
I know. It's good for Black History Month. I didn't think ahead, and so I had already chosen mine, and then I was like,
we'll pretend like I planned that. I didn't.
So thoughtful. Mine is by Danny Shapiro, Inheritance, a memoir of genealogy, paternity, and love.
Didn't we read something else by Danny Shapiro?
I have not.
I think I have. I know that name.
Did I? Yeah, type the titles for splats, and
I'll type it. Yes. It's called Stay With Me.
And Chloe chose Hidden Figures.
Oh, good. Always wanted to read that. And it's by, I'm going to type this name because it's going to be very
beep, boop, boop, beep, beep, boop,
yeah, boop, boop, beep, boop. AYOEAMI ADEBAYO. Okay. There we go. That is mine.
All right, bitches.
And it is available
on
a great reading Kindle, on audiobook.
This was
you can get
so
it used
good.
for $6 on Amazon.
Books.
So it's well priced. Yeah.
Love it.
And it's going to be good.
You have any gossip?
No, I already said it.
When?
About the challenge.
That was good.
Yeah, it was.
No further questions.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Love you guys.